What up, YouTube? Asian Persuasion. Here's my boy Slim. You already know.
Prof all grinds.
And today we're at YCS Minneapolis with the top 32 duelists. Introduce yourself, Shunping, to the viewers and what you played.
Alright, I'm Shunping Shu. I guess a lot of people know me already. I was on feature. I had 2 features. I had one written feature, like round 4 or 5 something early. And then I had another actual feature round 7 against Cody.
Against Cody, of all people.
And then pretty much it. And then I played TEARLAMENTS for this tournament.
Nice.
Yep.
And you guys played the same exact deck. Same thing with Creamy. Yep.
That's good.
Insane.
Copied the homework right here. That's right, Christian. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get to the profile. Or you want to do shoutouts first?
If
you wanna do it.
shout out to all the friends, especially the Chinese group that I've been testing a lot with. We pretty much play test this since like post started, and then we just constantly play testing. Actually, like I was grinding regionals, as most people might already see on my Facebook posts. And then after this YCS Mini, I believe I'm first place in the World Points leaderboard at the current moment.
Yeah, this man's about to go to Worlds, boys. Watch out. Shunping's showing up with the UDS belt.
There has been a lot of people asking about my list for the regionals. I have never told anyone, and this pretty much is the same thing that I've been playing since after Niagara.
So this is the first time you leaked it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because format's changing. So.
Yeah, well, there are new Dark Green Blast cards, but the list pretty much is the same. A couple weeks ago, it's just the same thing without Dark Green Blast.
Definitely. All right, man. Let's go ahead and just jump into it. Let's see it.
So it's tiers, monsters. The 12 tier standard, nothing really special. And then I do play the High Spirit, so there are the 2 targets for High Spirits. And then there's also the Turtle. I do play the Crystal Beast package.
Yes.
And then it's pretty much just all the monsters. No Beastas, and no other hand traps. Don't think I need it. I think those cards are actually pretty bad, especially in the tier deck.
In the tier deck, yeah.
There wasn't any minute combo decks either, right?
Yeah. It was like hand trap just bad.
What's the Emerald Tortoise count of the day? How many times you draw that thing? That thing hates me.
I mean, I'm actually perfectly fine with the Turtle because it's in the aqua. That's why
it goes shuffle back. Yeah.
And then usually I just like pitch it, or it never like this card never really clogged me at all.
Fair.
Yeah. And then I guess move on to the spells. Tier field. I played 3 Scream, the new card from Dark and Blast. This one,
card's cracked.
Card's insane.
Honestly, yeah, this card, first of all, shouldn't be a common, so I'm ready for Mega Team next year. This card is so good, it just gives you like extra mills in your turn, in your opponent's turn, as long as this sits on the field, it just keep going. And then whenever it gets milled, I search a tier trap. So before back then, it was like people like normally play summon Kikalos. Kikalos will try to grab the trap, right? Yeah. Now because I have like 3 screams, usually what I do is just use Kikalos to get scream, and then because the extra mill of the scream and 2 more copy left in the deck, there's a decent chance like I can do like a mill 8 or mill 11 and hit like a second copy, and that I use that way to access my traps.
Yeah.
So that's why like I need 3. Use the first one to do combos and use the second and third copies to like access the trap instead. And then I had a couple games where I raw open both, but I just like this is the freest cost for Raven Hard to pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that happened like to me twice or 3 times in the tournament. And then there's also the High Spirits. Best card in the deck, pretty much. Best starter in the entire like card pool for tier. Like, this is another instant fusion, pretty much.
Yeah.
You can, like, all the hand traps, the tier that kind of have issue with, can be played around High Spirits. Things such as, like, Valor on the Cacao. Well, that one is not that popular. The big ones like Dogwood in Time, Cherries, Beast Tails, and D-Shifters. Those can all be played around by High Spirits in different ways, just as long as you take care of it.
Yeah.
So, and then I see there's a lot of people do a lot of people play High Spirit with Cartisia, but don't do the Cartisia combo. High spirits plus any tier, the whole combo will not get beasted at any single point.
Wow.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and a lot of people don't know that, surprisingly. But they still play that. So they might coincidentally play around it, or who knows. And then there's also, you saw the turtle, so there is the Rainbow Bridge package with the extra field spell. I don't have one Mr. Mine, but I do have like a lot of copies of Mr. Mine. Like these can turn into Mr. Mine from the Rainbow Bridge. I lost like 1 or 2 games because I had one random mill at the beginning when I had a terraforming or foolish goods, but my one random mill milled mine at the very beginning. So it's like I had to grab the play actual, like my original plan was just like hide the mine, use other things to bait the negates, and then use the last thing to search the mine and then
stick it.
Then win game 1 like that after go second. But just unfortunate mine was milled at the very beginning, so yeah, that actually cost me game 1 against Cody on feature. Because my first mill was just like 2 tier and mine, it was like I was actually not happy about it.
Damn.
And then surprisingly 2 super party. Card is good. It's the worst, best non-engine cards in the whole, like, there's way less sprite left in the format. So this has become the first thing I decide to cut. This one actually also do contribute to breaking a lot. Like going first, or I also have to play the droplets for, and the cop obviously. Like I had to play 3 droplets for Dweller, and every other thing that has issue, right? Going first, drawing like 2 or at least 2 copies of combination of these, most likely will just result as breaking. So at the end, it was like, yeah, out of all the cards I can cut, I think this is the only one I was cutting. Like the deck before the Darkring Blast has like 3 of each because I don't have these, and I also don't have the Cartesia. And then so I was playing like another copy of Foolish Goods, another copy of Super Poly, and I think like an Upstart and something else.
Yeah.
And then after Darkring Blood, I have to fit these, I have to fit Cartesia. So like I look at everything and it's cutting 1 of each to keep the deck still for you.
I like it.
So that's all the spells. And then the traps. Well, I guess that being mentioned a lot of time, the Rainbow Bridge. This is a big brick. The funny part is, it's only really a brick if I open with Foolish Goods and Rainbow Bridge. But at the same time, I have a lot of hands where I just open Foolish Goods with the field, so I don't even need to mill this.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's only a brick because it doesn't do anything, but it doesn't like hurt anything else working. If I do draw these, I can still Foolish the Zodiac to get a monster anyway. And if I draw these 2, I'll just go Field Spell, grab a monster, Zodiac, grab a monster. So still the same thing. And then I think I ended up raw milling it more often than I Foolish Goods it.
Free.
For the Rainbow Bridge. Yeah, it's a lot. It's 3 cards. And 2 Zodiac, 1 Crime.
Crime's insane.
Yeah, because there's like more, there's Screams now, so it's naturally have higher access to traps. Therefore, a second kind of tier trap is needed. I was actually already playing this in the main before Darkring Blast, simply for the fact because I have Rainbow Bridge, so I naturally have a higher chance to have field spells access compared to everyone else, and the turtle, right?
Yeah.
So it's naturally I have like an extra monster in my hand because I just have like an excessive of searches. So this one was almost never dead, and also it has a decent grave effect. When it's into graveyard, you I get to add a tier for my banish pile. Which normally it wouldn't happen, but there's actually a lot of things that banish, like
Runic
E-Shifter, Runic cards, Beasted, the Cherries. This is also one of the best way to recycle like a banished Kaleido-Heart or Kikalos of like something random.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like this. The last trap card is the higher drop.
That's insane.
That
Card
card's
is
crazy.
Should I say it? Remember, like almost a month or 2 ago, everyone's been playing like a Galaxy Cyclone.
Yeah.
And just for the Mr. Mine, and then turn out like when I was doing it, I really hate the concept of Galaxy Cyclone. You kind of have to play it, and you kind of have to play it even going first because people might mind you going second, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the card just absolutely does nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't
like
help
really
you.
nothing. And then one of my friend brought the idea to me with a high redraw. It's a card like you play with the mine, you just pop all your whole field. You get the effect, even you mill it like randomly, and then even mine isn't in the equation. This card still functions perfectly with the tier engine.
Yeah.
The field effect, you pop two or more monsters on the field, on your field. For every 2 you pop, you draw a card. So it's an easy way to clear all your board. At the graveyard effect, you target a monster you control. During your opponent's turn, your opponent's main phase, you target a monster I control, pop it to reset the card, and banish it when it leaves the field.
Yeah, this card is insane for Missing Mind.
Yeah, so this is not only insane against Missing Mind, this is also just, usually I go into grinding, this is just like Kaleido beat down with this in the graveyard.
Yeah.
My opponent just can't do anything against it. Like, how often that happened to you?
Yeah.
It happened a lot.
Yeah.
Also, like when I use all the names and stuff, I got to like I had an extra Fool's Berry good. So
Yeah,
like,
I just send it. Yeah.
Yeah, just send it. It's
Yeah,
like
send
good.
this.
If they miss
that's
a line,
nice.
you just lose.
Yeah. I have no issue against Mr. Mind the entire month I've been grinding. Yeah.
Broken.
And then just like, the game usually goes like Kaleido beat down with this in the graveyard at the end. Yeah, so that's the main deck, 40 cards.
40 cards. That card is
interesting. Yeah, the interesting part is just nothing interesting. It's very standard.
Very standard.
Just get the standard shit down, and then I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then extra deck. Kaleido, 2 Rook House and 2 Kick House. This was the absolutely correct decision to play 2 copies. Because High Spirits, because the nature of High Spirits keep recurring back to end, it's so easy, like turn 3, turn 5, you just want a High Spirit and then keep doing combos. But often at that point, your Rook House will either be already on the field because you want negates, or it's already in the graveyard because it's gone. And then I don't accept dead High Spirits in my hand when even it's got back for free.
Yeah.
So, and then there's other tricky part where because the first effect that says other Echo monster cannot die by battle, you against like something, for example, IP Avermax, I can just settle with like both in defense.
Put him in defense.
Nothing
yeah.
can be died by battle here. I summon. I not only use this like the second one, I even summon the second one quite a bit.
Yeah.
What about you? You also, yeah.
Multiple times.
Multiple times, right?
Also, like when you have a 2 branded High Spirits, you can set
Yeah.
one. So now you have like a live one on your
Yeah.
opponent's turn.
And there are so many people who would just be like surprised and was like kind of ignore the High Spirit, and I end with just still have the second one to use the High Spirit to do things. Yeah.
That card is
Oh,
crap.
can you even use that card? I'm like, yes.
Yeah. And then there is the Draco Stapelia. I wish I still played 2. I was playing 2 before the set, but now I have to cut these and then cut like new cards from Dark and Blast. So I think there might be games I can win easier if I had 2 copies, but it does not matter that much.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Yeah. And then Garura and Mud Dragon Standard. Those are the fusions. And then there are the links, where just the dark, and then the 2 Splite, Sprine and Elf. Sprine is honestly more an emergency issue situation thing, where if things happens, I can just like any 3 monster is a Murdy name,
Yeah.
because I can just go 2 into dark and the dark into that, and then Elf, I guess combined with the Gigantic. There's no Splite cards in the main deck. This is solely purpose for one thing at the very beginning, is just to turn my Link monster into Zeus, where I do play it.
The Zeus package.
Yeah. So I think this was about a month ago, right, when everyone's doing Danger Tier and everyone's making Dweller. I was like, how do I really have a chance going second? It came up with, and like I found out something interesting where any 2 monsters into dark. Dark summon almost anything, then Dark and that thing into Elf, Elf the Dark back, and then Elf Dark into Gigantic, punch main phase to make Zeus.
Oh man, that's actually kind of
And
sick.
then there has like a lot of people, a lot of tier players don't play Zeus. Don't believe me play Zeus.
They will now.
Yeah, before Dark Green there is even a Donner to make sure I have 2 Zeus effect after the Gigantic.
Yeah.
And funny thing is, Gigantic is a 32 is actually surprisingly big. It beats Kaleido in mirror match.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
fun.
that has happened to me before. There has been, I think today, where I actually, it was against Marcus. He made an IP Avermax. My original plan was make the Dweller, crush the Dweller, then main phase to make Gigantic Zeus the board.
Oh.
But my Garura draw, while I was doing the link combos, drew the droplet. So at the end was I made a dweller, made a gigantic, battle phase droplet the Avermax, beat over it, and then main phase 2 I just put Zeus on the dweller, then gigantic them early out.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and also Zeus just works well with all the tiers. I'm having like Zeus Kaleido people. And that was not fun for my opponents.
I'd be mad. I'd be like,
has that happened to
Zeus
you?
Kaleido?
Some Zeus this format at all. But
Okay.
yeah, the deck just worked really
Yeah,
well.
I Zeus Axo Sister player.
An Axo.
He like Radis into 2, and then all I did was just make a Draco Stapolia, make sure he's Mikalos isn't banishing anything, and then I just like use Draco Stapolia, kill the Mikalos. Main phase 2, use the Mud Dragon and my Reno into Redoer. It was like, okay, I'm just gonna demise the land for Necrovalus, so the Redoer doesn't do anything for the material, right? Cool,
Yeah.
I'll just go Zeus after. Clear the board.
He was like, wow.
Put him on to nothing. And that's 1 minute game.
That's
Then
sick.
obviously there's the 2 rank 4 Dweller and then Redoer. Pretty self-explanatory.
I like it. That Zeus is not. I did not see that coming. Jesus.
A lot of people don't see that coming, that's why it's good.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, even they do see it's coming,
It's still good.
it's still good. Like,
too late. Zeus is
the
a
nature
broken
of the tier deck is like, sometimes you just can't take care of those things.
Yeah.
And then the side, Diddy Crows.
Here comes the goo.
I think this is better than these sets, in general, at all. Like, more so specifically, at least specifically in this, in my tier deck, or almost in any tier deck.
Yeah.
Beast's cards are relatively bad by itself.
Yeah.
And then it only good if it's combined with another hand trap. So I guess like for splites, yes, you have a lot of hand trap with more beasts, that's good. But for tiers where I naturally don't have that many hand traps, I think Crow first of all is just better. Second of all, everyone's playing high spirits.
Yeah.
Almost everyone. Or even they don't, they should. The reason people wasn't playing high spirit before the set was because they're just too lazy to buy the D3 and they'd be like, yeah, I'm just gonna not order the D3 and play without it for the 2 weeks, despite the card's only $3. So I was like, yeah, well, cool. I was playing it. I was winning with it. And then now, because Rook House, there's no barrier preventing people playing high spirits. Right?
Yeah.
And then, like I said earlier with high spirits just play around Beasted very hard. Not only, first of all, you can't stop the Kick House being summoned. For people like me, Gunther, like I told him, for us who know the actual combo after high spirit with Cartesia, you can't really beast it the entire way of combo.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll probably show the combo after I go
for
through
sure.
all the thing. And then at that point, like, Beasted it's just useless.
It doesn't do
Yeah.
anything.
And then, like, honestly, like, I was playing Crow, seems like a while ago. This is mainly, how should I see this card? These 2 spots are specifically devoted to Haveness in my own turn. That's and then these 2 enters become the best answer to that specific scenario. Like, 3T works this way, Ash works. Magnuma is technically better than Crow because you can also grab the other one, but the other one's worse than Crow. So overall, at the end, it was like, oh, I'm just gonna play Crow. This also cover Runic and Splite.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Beast just does absolutely nothing against those. And then talking about Runic and Splite, there's the cherries. Before I had Dark Ruler for Splite before the banless because they had Toad. Nowadays they just don't. They barely make any realistically negates. So I don't really specifically play any side cards for Splite. And then this just become one of the best cards that covers both the matchup for tier and Splite.
Yeah.
As you saw earlier, there is all the
tier
Splite
spice
accident cards. Yeah, and then it's worse now because people may high spirits and play around the chairs. They summon Kick House first. But still, I could just cheer the Dweller afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, without a Dweller, they can make whatever thing, and that's just normal board to crack. And yeah, that's why I like chairs. That's also one of my favorite hand trap.
Did Gunther like that card?
Yeah.
Not for me.
So it worked one way, but not one the other.
And then the infamous time cards. There's 3 Skillgen for going first.
I like it.
This is the answer to D-Shifter. For whatever deck that D-Shifter me, they stop me for a turn, I flip Scourging and stop them for a whole game. Pretty much
Sounds like a fair trade.
Yeah, sounds like a fair trade. And then, like, that's pretty much it. Like, against Flounder, worst matchup pretty much. Now the side really works. This is just the thing. I even side in going second against Flounder because there's more deck cards in the deck. But I end with not playing any Flounder at all. What about you?
There's
You play two.
unlucky for Gunther.
And what happens? But there's the Scourge in the deck. Yeah, and then going first, there's also like obviously against Blight is also good. Against even Tier Mirror, I do put this in. There has been games where I was just like playing with my Scourging. Like I drew both. It was actually not good, but I still get the combo after. I flipped the first Scourging on something from my opponent, it was a Tier Mirror. And then I did some Fusion Summon. I went, I think it was Rukal's channeling Quan into high redraw in the graveyard channeling to pop the rule. So rule still resolved because it's no longer on the field for Scourging.
Yeah.
And then after that, I get to Fusion Summon. I use my own field spell to pop the Scourging.
Broken.
To turn all the monster back up.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
then I still had the second one's backup in case I need
He
to flip
played the
again.
next turn, yeah.
Yeah. So that was something I can play with it. Not regretting playing these. And the last card was 3 Evenly. This is honestly probably the only thing I would change in the deck, which I knew I was gonna change it even before the tournament started.
Yeah.
These were Lightning Storms. Lightning Storm performs way better as clearing back row and just clearing random things. But they're taking consideration there is Draco Slayer in Darkring Blast, right? And then no one know how it combos, no one know what the ending board, like the best ending board will be. The only thing everyone know for sure is to search a field spell, any field spell during the middle, and then often they just gonna set up like either Sacred Village or Necro Valley against me.
Yeah.
And then because of that, because just taking consideration the Draco Slayer existing, I end with last minute switching Lightning Storm into Evenly. Like these were Lightning Storm before the set. However, it turns out there was almost no Draco Slayer.
No drink.
Like I don't see anyone like after round 4.
In the beginning, I was like, oh, there's a lot. They're all.
No, just
round
dead.
five.
Yeah, oh, wow.
So at the end, this has just become like a much worse card. Like I wish the copy I drew were Lightning Storm during the later tour, like was Premier match or like Sply matchup or something. I think if these are Lightning Storm, it actually can win me 1 or 2 extra more games. But while I was preparing it, I think this was correct. Because no one can predict how many actual number of Draco Slayer existing, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the side.
For sure, man. Any shouts you guys you got from Gunther? No? Are you good?
You're just luxury. That's
Luxury?
okay. Yeah,
Always luxury.
Always too cheap for building that.
Obviously for the homework copying. All right. Well, congratulations on top 32, Shunping and Gunther, or Creamy Gunther over here. You already know, and thanks for deck profile.